This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Welcome to the Doctors In with me, Dr. Janotha Archer Cartwright. Welcome to another exciting show for all things health, wellness, and things that pertain to the Bahamian Society. We have an interesting show tonight. We're going to talk a lot about goals, resolutions, things to kind of think about as we go into the new year. I saw some really great articles and some psychological articles as well about this topic. So we're definitely going to go into that. And then as promised, we're going to do some giveaways tonight. We've got some $50 gift certificate checks, as well as some gift certificates for our IV vitamin therapy. So if you're interested in doing something like that, you want to think about that tonight. And then we have some checks that you can use on anything you want. So you want to listen in. And if you listened into the show before last, we would even have talked about maybe some of the topics that we talked about might just come up. So we're going to be asking a few questions. We're going to have an open line tonight. So if you want to call in, if you have a resolution, a goal for the new year, or just something that you want to talk about tonight, we're just going to go into that. Of course, our program is brought to you by Medical Concierge Services for all your medical healthcare needs. Everything, children, adults, we do it all. We have a clinic on Collins Avenue in the Bahamas Heart Center. As well, we do concierge services, so we come to you. So give us a call, 326-1521, or we've got a new WhatsApp line. So if you've got the old one, toss that away. The new WhatsApp line is 4324010. You can also catch us on Facebook and Instagram. And for all of you, someone's asked me to repeat that number already. So our WhatsApp line, 4324010. And that's great as well because we still are signing up patients for NHI. So if you want to sign up for the NHI, great way to start off your new year, get your physicals done, and come in and see us. It's a good time to do it now so that you can be ready for January. So you want to give us a call or just send a text to our WhatsApp line, 4324010, that you want to sign up, and we will get that information from you and get the ball rolling so that you can be ready for January. We're right here streaming live on Facebook. The Doctor Is In with me, Dr. D. Archer. We're also on GuardianTalkRadio.com on 96.9. Our phone lines tonight, if you want to join in with us, are 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And so we will have the line open if you just want to jump in or start the conversation with us. But we're going to talk about a variety of different things, including New Year's resolutions, why we kind of do that, as well as the science behind setting goals and what it takes to achieve them, because I am a very goal-oriented person. I like to really start and end my year with both a reflection of the things that I have done or wanted to do and kind of go over that and see whether I was able to accomplish those things, and then what will my next year look like. So I start thinking about that super, super early. I am the type of person to write these things down and kind of look back to see what happened. And I think it's a great way to kind of take that retrospective, looking back at your year and your time and what you did with it, and to see whether you accomplished your goals, if you got really close, if you didn't, if there's things that you need to work on. And I would say, for the most part, for a lot of my projects, I did come pretty close to achieving just about everything. Of course, nothing is perfect and there's always more work to be done. So I've got a few things that are going to go over into the next year that I'll be working on, but I have some new things as well that I really want to get super done that in. So it's a great way to end your year, kind of looking back. Sometimes, things were rocky and you didn't quite get things done. And sometimes things are better than you expect, and you're able to get a lot more things done than possible. And it's kind of strange because even in the time of these last few years have been kind of crazy. I think they allowed a lot of people to think and get a lot of things done because we had a lot of time on our hands sometimes. And so reflection is a really important way of ending the year and then thinking forward to what the next year is going to look like. So this was not your year. 2022 wasn't quite your year, and 2023 may just be the year for you. I also hope to kind of maybe play a few of the songs that I really liked this year as well, as we go back and forth between our breaks. And I see Edwin Roll wants to join me on video online, but you can't, Edwin. If you want to, you can give us a call, because I won't be able to let you join on Facebook, but you can give us a call. Those numbers again, 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. What were you grateful for this year? What were your goals? Did you achieve them? And what are your goals looking like for the next year? And so for many of us, we call these kind of goals, and I'm going to go more into goals, but we call them our New Year's resolutions. And this is a tradition that most of us in the Western part of the world, and also parts of the East, we do every year, where people resolve to continue the good practices that have worked for them and to change some of the traits or behaviors that may not be as good. Yeah, Edwin, that was you trying to come on the video. And also things that you want to accomplish, the goals that you want to accomplish, and otherwise, and other behaviors that you might want to improve at the beginning of the year. And so we set these resolutions and we just kind of throw things in the air. But I really like to actually call these things like goals, because if you call them goals, then you tend to have a little more power behind them. But let's first look at some of what the most common New Year's resolutions have been, and kind of how to look at follow through, and then how do we really set goals that are going to be a lot more influential on our year. So every year, millions of people kind of set these resolutions. They really want to spark positive change in their life. And there's some reoccurring themes, because there's some things as human beings, I guess, that we all kind of struggle with and really want to make better in our life. And most of these things include, of course, being more active and a better approach to health and fitness, improving our finances, and learning new things for our professional development. So most people tend to have similar resolutions for the year. So the number one, and I guess this is something that I emphasize all the time, and even I need to do a bit more of, and that is exercise more. So that is the number one resolution that people make every single year. We all say, look, we want to exercise more. We want to get healthier and do all this stuff like that. So of course, number two would be to lose weight. I think it's a constant struggle for everyone, especially after a certain age. There's always some goal in mind in terms of what we want to do, how we want to lose some weight, and what we want our bodies to look at. So exercise and weight loss, these are the top two resolutions that people make every single year. Number 3 is getting organized. Organization. Anyone who knows me personally, I am methodically organized, but functionally probably not as organized. So I'm the type of person who organizes maybe even in a messy space, but then I can then take that space and make that a complete system. So, everybody gets organized in their own way, but overall, I would say that I'm an organized person because I do make lists and kind of separate things when they should be done, when they shouldn't be done. So getting organized is something that is number 3 on the list. Everybody wants to get organized because we all feel like if we get organized, that we would get so much more stuff done if we had things where they needed to be. So getting organized is super, super important. And sometimes when you remove that clutter, you can really kind of focus on the things that are going to be super important. So number 4 on the list is to learn a new skill or hobby. And so we all want to go into the new year and say, I want to learn how to make soap. I want to learn how to do this. And so these are also can be really good things to do because when we do that, we take those opportunities to go off and learn new things, meet new people. And I try to pick a different skill every year, more related to my work though. But I try to find a skill that I'm going to hone on and really go and do that. And usually I'll go off and do courses and stuff like that. I found that the last few that I've done, such as like microneedling and IV vitamin therapy and Botox, I've been like jumping on a plane, going to London. Maybe I just like going to London. So I use that opportunity to go on the plane and go to one of my favorite places, London, and learn a new skill. So you can mix that in with travel and vacation and other things. That's how you can make learning a new skill really a lot more interesting. Number 5, live life to the fullest. So this is the 5th on our list of goals that takes up a lot of space that people want to live more, do more, and just kind of focus more on the living aspect instead of just the surviving. So living to the fullest and really trying to enjoy life for what it is. And I think this is one of the ones that I've really kind of embraced over the last few years. When you're studying and you're doing medicine and you're starting a business and you're doing all of these things, you can get very, very caught up and you don't get to sometimes live and enjoy the benefits of what you're doing. So that's a really good one to live life to the fullest and hopefully in the most positive way possible, because there can be some negative activities that people get into, but to live life to the fullest, that's a really good one. And I would fold that one into living a purposeful life, which would probably bring more meaning to that. Number 6, save more money, spend less money, right? So save more money, spend less money. So that's a great way to try to save. So cutting back, looking at the things that you do spend money on, and if there's things that you can cut back on, and you want to save more money so that you have more money in the bank. What I would add to that one would be to make more money, and that will help you to save more money. So thinking about ways that you can add to that is a lot easier. Okay, we have a comment online from Edwin Roll. My New Year resolution is, and I need to follow through on this, being better at money management. I make enough money, but I have a serious issue saving money. I have too much peaks and valleys. Finally. Okay, that's a great one, Edwin. Looking at money management and how you manage your money, because you are correct. You have a lot of people that make a sufficient amount of money and they kind of wonder, where does the money go? Because when they have the money, they spend it or they don't save it properly. And so sometimes people end up being like cash poor or end up just not having the funds that they should, even though they look at their salary every month and it looks pretty good. So that's a great one to look at. I kind of have kind of mastered, kind of managing money and stuff like that. So if I was in the business of doing that kind of consultation, I would definitely help you, Edwin, because I think that's a really, really important one. And I think a lot of people go through that. And I think Bahamians culturally, we spend a lot. Uh, we like a very high lifestyle, and then we don't really think about saving so much until the money is needed. And so that is something we need to really kind of instill, and that can be learned. And so I think that's a really good goal to have. And I think if you, as we talk into setting goals, when you start setting goals, it gives you a reason to kind of do those things and keeps you in check. So that's a really good one. And you can call in anyone, or send us a message on our Facebook page about your New Year's resolution. So that's a pretty good one. All right, quit smoking for those of you who smoke. And that goes for any vice. That could be quit smoking or drinking or doing something that's just not healthy for your life. And that's a pretty good one to do, because sometimes, people pick up habits along the way. It gets kind of difficult to get rid of these things. But if you make a conscious effort that's going to be on top of your list, it makes it a lot easier to start the year maybe clean, or, not smoking, those types of things. So getting rid of bad habits, definitely, especially ones that are going to impact your health. That's kind of universal for a lot of people. So quitting smoking is number 7 on the list. And I would add to that any kind of vice that you realize hasn't had a positive influence in your life or is going to affect your health negatively. Spend more time with family and friends. Key, very, very important. We live in a really busy world, and sometimes we work, or we do so many different things, and we tend to forget sometimes what's really, really important, which is our family and our friends and the people that support us. And we should try to take the time to spend more time with these people, because we never know. And I think what COVID and what's happened over the last few years has taught us is that we never know what's going to happen. So this was a big learning lesson for me. I definitely put more focus on my family, and keeping my family together and spending time with my family. So important. And I've got small children. I've got a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old, big gap. And both of them are in those stages where they need a lot of love and a lot of attention. And I have a busy job and a busy life. But at the end of the day, I have to remember what my priority is, and that is my family. And so my kids especially, I try to show them a little extra love whenever I can, because, mommy's busy a lot of times, but not too busy for them. So spending time with family and friends, really a really good one. And it's good for your soul. It's good for your just your being to be around the people that love you. And I think if you do that, you just start off nice. So Christmas is a great way to end the year. And then New Year's and all these holidays, I love this season. My birthday is in there as well, early in January. So this is really like, the next couple of weeks are just like a wonderful time for me. And I really enjoy it. Travel more. Oh, yeah. So I love to travel. So those of you who love to travel, this is number 9 on the list. Traveling more and more and more. And so, going interesting things. I have my bucket list that I have. So I like to try to get in as much travel as I can. So I was not happy about not being able to travel for a while, but I'm very glad that things are open back up. So traveling is number 9 on most people's list. It's a good opportunity to explore our family islands right here in the Bahamas. If you can't travel abroad, we have a multitude of options here in the country. And I must say that each one of our islands has its own distinct beauty and uniqueness, which is really, really, really lovely. So have a good time, travel the islands. And, if you can't travel the islands, do a staycation, or go to your cousin's house at least. Change up the view a little bit. So getting out, it just kind of resets you and does something different for you. And read more. Reading is really great. It opens up your mind, it brings in new information, it changes your perspective. So information is really, really important, having that kind of data. So reading more is important. I've also added to this personally for myself. So a lot of these resolutions are kind of like I'm typically doing what everybody else is doing. I have some personal ones as well, but these top 10 are really kind of things I also too always have on my list. But reading more, I've added audiobooks to that too. I always don't have time to do all of that reading. And so I try to listen to a lot of educational stuff as I, like drive or certain places waiting, that kind of stuff. But it's also really important for your mental health to, look at a book, read an actual article or something like that. It's really stimulating for your mind. And so just a little bit of the science or the medicine behind all of this. We all start with our really good intentions. Many people do struggle to keep up these really great sounding plans. And according to studies published in the Clinical Psychology Journal, 46% of people who made New Year's resolutions are successful. So a big part of it is actually putting those resolutions together. I prefer to write them down so it's not some arbitrary thing. Down, it's a good chance that you're going to get it done. So 46% sounds low. But when you think about it, it's a lot of people getting stuff done. That means that, even though I like to look at the glass half full, even though more than half of the people don't really get those done, 46% of people getting anything done is usually pretty good. Most of the times when you have a task, even think about it, when you have a group task, only about 10% of people do the work. So 46% is not bad. So just by writing down your goals, you're probably going to get a 46% chance of getting those done. So the study also involved non-resolvers, people who did not make a New Year's resolution, but had a goal that they wanted to achieve that year. Only 4% of the non-successful at achieving their goals. So those people who didn't have like a set goal, they didn't write it down, they didn't have a New Year's resolution per se, but they had something in the back of their mind. Only 4% of those people actually got it done. So now we can see the big difference between those who specifically had a goal, made a resolution and said they were going to do it. So those results are far bleaker than those who actually took the opportunity. So 46% versus 4%. So naturally, we want to achieve these things, and we all have these aspirations and dreams. And so there are different ways that we can go about making it easier for ourselves. And so one of the first suggestions in this article by Brad Zomick is to just be mentally prepared for change. So changing our ingrained habits, which is not very easy to do before driving into our New Year goals, is really important to take that kind of step back, get ready for an impending change, because change is usually the thing that we fear the most. We want to break down what that change is going to look at by looking at our personal inventory of what we need to do. And being that it's the end of the year and the beginning of the next, it's a perfect time to take stock of the past year's accomplishments and think about the following. So you want to think about, what did I set out to do the past year? Where did I make progress? And where didn't I see progress? And this naturally gives you an assessment of how you dealt with the things that you tried to do last year and how you're going to do with the things for the next year. So next resolution may focus on areas that lack progress, but you want to actually savor in the things that you did right, because that's where the keys are. The keys are in how did you get the stuff that you did done. And so you want to celebrate those things, because you reward yourself with this, and it actually makes it easier to get more things done. So those happy feelings make us feel useful and purposeful, and we associate them with accomplishments, and it just makes new accomplishments even easier to get. So when you celebrate even the small things that you've done, if you wanted to lose 5 pounds and you did it, even though you may have had other goals to save $10,000, I would then celebrate the one that you did do. So you want to stay very, very positive, and this is how you implement change. You want to try not to make big, quick changes. You want changes to be gradual. So if you make changes gradual, it's easier to do them step by step. So with a lot of patients, especially our patients who want to lose weight, they say, Dr. Archer, I want to lose 60 pounds. I said, that's great. It's probably doable, but let's start with 5-10% of your body weight. Let's start with a little bit and let's inch our way through, and that's going to be a lot more sustainable. So if you have a goal of losing 5 pounds over a month or two versus 60 pounds over 6 months to a year, that is a lot more easier in your mind to achieve, and therefore it's easier to achieve itself. And you want to build on smaller changes. So you make a change and you make a bigger change, and you allow for error. So nobody is perfect. Nothing is done perfectly. And so if you allow yourself that room to say, well, I'm not going to lose. And that's why we tend to have ranges using weight loss. So say, for an example, you want to lose 5 pounds, we might say 3 to 6 pounds. That way, if you hit within your goal, it's going to be good. And you want to set goals that are going to motivate you. So things that are going to make you or drive you, because a lot of goals sometimes aren't for yourself. And you can set goals that you think would make other people happy, but if it's not going to make you happy, if it's not the thing that drives you, then it's going to be really, really hard to accomplish. And so you don't want to be dictated or coerced by someone else to make these types. This inner change has to come within you. So if you pick goals that are close to your heart and your needs, you're going to find that you accomplish them a lot better. You also want to pick a goal that you can get support on. So let's say you want to stop drinking. You might want to tell a friend who maybe had stopped drinking or has been sharing with you maybe to stop drinking about that goal, and then you have the support that you name, or someone who shares the exact same passion with you, and that gives you a really good chance of succeeding as well. You need to make goals that are important to you and you alone, but can also add benefit to others. So there's no reason that they shouldn't have both of those things that are good for you and things that are good for others. And if these align, your goals, your priorities, your dreams, your aspirations, it's a likely chance that these goals will be met. So these will become your top priority, and you just lead with that I have to do it, I must do attitude, and you're going to get the benefits of that. So if you want to do something like that's career orientated, or you want to improve your Excel skills or create your own professional development plan, a great way to stay motivated on that path towards your goal, you can put that down in writing and kind of say what that looks like. And so you can have goals in almost any area of your life, both professional and personal, financial. Those are all different places that you can create goals. You want to limit resolutions to a manageable amount. So you go there and say that you want to learn 25 different languages over the next year. That's going to be almost impossible. So it almost has to be a little bit realistic. So you want to have the top things really in there. So if you want to learn 15 new skills, there's only 12 months in the year. The practicality of you doing something like that is going to affect how well that works. And if you want to eliminate a certain bad habit, you're not going to pick every bad habit in your life. It just may be an overload. So take it bit by bit, and you want to make resolutions that you feel like you can achieve, and you want to shortlist it. So even if you start off with a whole bunch, pick the ones that you think that most likely that you're going to be able to do, and then you're going to start there. A good way to get into the exercise of how do you do that and feel important in life, you just might want to write it down on a piece of paper, a wall, or I like to use my iPhone or an iPad or something like that, which they always have like a note section. So if you have a phone and you're a person who keeps your phone on you a lot, there's usually a note area where you can put down notes. And that's a great place that you want to write down anything you want to accomplish for self-improvements. You don't want to just leave it on like little Post-its or whatever, because those things will kind of get thrown away. And if you put it on a wall, if you have a special wall or something you want to put it on, you want to do that. And you want to start with all the things you can think about, and then you maybe want to cut those down until it is a manageable amount of stuff. And you want to put those topics important at the top and the ones that are maybe a little less important at the bottom. And you want to spend time really thinking about the order in which you put these different groups of things in, because that kind of will dictate how you set yourself up to achieve these things. And you have to really know your limitations. So if you know that you're a person who doesn't read 100 books in a year, you may not want to start so high, and you might just want to start with a couple and then move on from there. So it's better to tackle one resolution really, really well than to have multiple resolutions that aren't going to go anywhere. You want to be really, really specific when you come with these things. And I see that too, because sometimes the more specific you are, and it's like your brain kind of latches onto that, and it almost makes it real. So when you do that, and you actually kind of realize that you go after those goals a lot. So be specific. There's a really cool acronym that I found. SMART Goal Setting Framework can help you craft better goals. So SMART, which are the SMART goals. Be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. So specific, you want to articulate your resolutions as clear as possible. For example, you say, I want to quit smoking. Quitting smoking is better than just saying being healthy. While being healthy is a great one, it's very broad. So you want to be very specific with what you want to do. I want to quit smoking. I want to exercise 3 times a week. Those things are going to be than if you were to just say, I want to be healthy. Also measurable, so you want to quantify your resolution. I will lose 10% of my body weight. I want to lose 5 pounds. You want to have those things that you're able to measure so that you can go back at the end of the year and say, you know what? I started off at 200 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. I'm 180. So I lost 10% of my body weight. I accomplished my goal. I got this close to it. Or I need 2 more pounds to get where I need to go. So being very measurable and being able to quantify your goals is really, really important to achieving them. And attainable, choosing goals that are in the realm of possibility. You might say, I want to make 100 friends. Well, it took you all your life to make 5. So making 100 friends may be, super impossible. So you might just say, I want 2 to 3 really close friends. That might be doable. So you may be able to seek out people who are very similar to you. And that's a doable goal. And relevant, you want to keep relevant to your priorities and your goals, and see the motive and things that are going to motivate you, as we talked about. Time sensitive, you want to give yourself time frames which you're going to achieve these goals. So, I'm going to read 10 books by the end of the year, the end of the month, whatever it may be. But putting a time on these things usually, just kicks in your adrenaline and makes you want to get this stuff done. So if you can be very specific like that, you would definitely have that higher chance of achieving your goals, being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and sensitive. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about a few of the other points to achieve our goals and what goal setting looks like for you and me. And so we'll be right back on The Doctors In with me, Dr. Denothra Archer Cartwright.
The new Guardian Radio app is here. Listen live to all our Guardian Radio shows and live video stream select programs in our studio. Get information about Guardian Radio shows and our hosts. Send messages including text, email, and even call. All from our amazing new Guardian Radio app. Download it free today in your App Store for your Apple device or Play Store for your Android device. The all-new and improved Guardian Radio app.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 30200 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Always on the go?
Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Happy holidays from Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri. Have a beautiful and wonderful Christmas.
Okay, we're back. I was hoping we would have come back in. Okay, Mr. Producer, we've got to work on that. Just wanted to come back with one of the songs, a song that I really liked. But maybe when we take another break, we'll get that up and running. So when we come back, or we can do our little interim would be some of the songs that I had on my playlist. But I'm going to open up the phone lines and actually put out there one of my first questions. I forgot I'm doing a giveaway. So those of you who are listening, 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. I'm going to put this question out there, and I guess the first caller to come in with this one. This one is going to be super easy if you've been watching and following the show. I just want you to tell me, how many years ago did the show start and who was our first guest? I mentioned it like multiple times on our last show, our last live show. So the first person who can call in and just give me how many years ago did the show start and who was my first guest. Whilst we wait for persons to call in, we're just going to continue with some things that are going to help you to get your goals rolling. Number 5 on our list is going to be to break the goals up into smaller goals. So if you have a really big goal, you might do like quarterly little check-ins. So what I do that a lot with financial goals. If I have a set amount, I would just kind of say, well, I want to do this then, and then kind of work that out. So a lot of us tend to be very eager and grandiose when it comes to our resolutions. And we have really good intentions, but sometimes we go too big, and it makes it really difficult to make these goals happen. So you really want to break them up, divide them into smaller, more attainable goals, which will eventually get you to your big goal. So yes, you want to really kind of do that. So you want to break that up, make it into smaller achievements, and that makes life a lot easier for you. And so that's something that you can do over weekly or monthly, and let those little smaller goals kind of add up to the bigger goals. And by breaking that up into discrete steps, it gives you a good chance to really accomplish what you set out to do, especially if it's a year-long goal or it's a really large goal that you want to look at. So a good way to doing that is creating kind of sub-lists within your list, prioritizing them within order, usually using visuals to kind of map out what this would look like, assigning milestones or timelines to those different tasks, and also deciding how much time does that task require. You want to allocate those resources accordingly and then focus on how to get to the next step rather than to just get to that big goal. So very organized way of going about that. And what I tend to do is I start with my bigger goal, break it up, and then within those little parts of the goal, you want to figure out each part of that and how that would happen. And I really a lot more achievable. So if you want to save $10,000 in a year, it's a lot easier to turn that into $800 a month. And how much you would need to save per week, let's say, so that just makes it a lot easier. And then how do you actually accomplish that? And do you need to create new income in order to get that done? All right. Good night, Citizens for a Better Commonwealth. Citizens for a Better Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Yes, thank you for joining the show. We're talking about goals, resolutions, and how do we solve that? And how do we make that happen? That's what we're talking about tonight. And if you want to join in and give us a call, or you want to answer our trivia question, which is, see if 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. How many years ago did the program start, and who was my first guest? That's not an easy question. That's an easy question, man. That's an easy question. And I, though, if any of you were listening to my show about 2 weeks back, I said this multiple times just to make sure that people would get it. So hopefully someone who listens constantly will get that question. 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. That's a $50 check from Medical Concierge Services, but you can use that on anything. So if you got the answer, if you like and check our Facebook page, The Doctors In With Me, Dr. B, you might see a clue in there if you know how to search properly. So that's the only clue that I'm going to get. So I'm going to throw it out there. How many years ago did the show start, and who was our first guest? All right. So you want to write down your goals. That's number 6 on our list of how to get our goals and our resolutions done. Because why? These are really, really easy to forget. And I know a lot of people, I won't call any names, but you tell them, oh, why don't you write that down? Oh, I've got it. So it seems really silly and really easy thing, but humans, we get really distracted. We are very forgetful. And what seems like something that we would remember in a couple of hours, check us after, a party, or even a few weeks. Okay, we have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good evening. Dr. Dwayne Sands was your first guest, and the show has been on for 4 years, 2018.
Yes, you got it. 2018. Our first guest was Dr. Dwayne Sands. Caller, you have gotten that correct. We're going to have a $50 check waiting for your Guardian Radio. It should be there by Thursday. Let me make sure. I'm going to be Thursday after 12. So if you would give the producer, if you want to say your name online, you can. But if not, you can give it to our producer, and we can have that waiting for you at Guardian Radio. How do you feel, caller? And what are you going to use your money for?
I haven't decided.
You're going to do something personal for yourself. It sounds like you already bought all your gifts and stuff. So thank you very much. And have you been watching the show from then, listening since then?
Yes.
Or you caught it on? Yes, you have. Okay, great to hear that. Okay, thank you very much, caller. And leave your number. Producer, get her name and a phone number so that we can make sure I have that ready for you.
Okay.
All right, so you're the winner. All right, awesome. So we have our first winner of the night. She got a $50 check to use personally on what she wants for Christmas. I'm glad to hear that she is someone who's been listening to the show for a very long time. That's really awesome. So we're just going to finish goals number 6 and 7, and then we're going to do another trivia. So let's try to get these in before the show is done. So you want to write it all down, and make your resolutions. And, write down your resolutions, establish your intentions, your goals, and that's going to be really, really helpful. You can do that in a journal. You can do that in in print, anywhere you want to. You want to share your resolutions with others as well. So if a tree falls in a forest, no one is around to hear it. Doesn't make a sound. Well, we don't know because we're not there, but most likely it does. So you want to find someone who is a kindred spirit, someone who has similar goals, someone you meet regularly, and so you can share what you have differently over time. And you're going to share that goal with them because that's going to really, really help you in the future. And so we're going to pull up the last time when we did the show. If someone can tell me what the topic of the show on, and I'll give you the date. We just recently had the show. So we had a show on the 6th of December. That was a show before I went away. If you can tell me the topic of that show, you also get a prize. So we're going to open back up the phone lines, of course, and 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. So if you know of our last show, you're going to win. That's an easy one, right? You know the topic of the last show. You know the topic of the last show. You're going to call in and give us what that topic was, and you will win $50, basically, if you know the topic of our last show. $50, a check worth $50. If you know the topic of our last show, you can win that. And that's going to be a pretty easy one if you were listening during that week's show. And hopefully it's someone who is listening to the show, of course. And so it's surprising me. I like some of our regular callers, we're not hearing them come up as much, but anyone. So you want to call in if you remember what was our last show. And what did I talk about? What did Dr. Archer talk about on the 6th of December? And if you know what that show was all about, then you will win. And I'm just going to pull that up myself as well. So you got that. Sorry. And this is a really, really easy one. This is a really easy one because it has something to do with the season itself. So if you can tell me, so that's even a clue. I gave you a clue of what that was about, and I'll give everybody the number one more time. And if you can tell me the topic of not last week's show, but the show of December 6th, that's 2 weeks ago. All right? 322-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Comment from online. Dr. D. Archer, we read somewhere today that 60% of China may be infected with COVID. Should the Bahamian public be concerned about that? Well, I guess we can, but China has a really crazy, no COVID policy that's going on. And so they're still doing quite a bit of testing, number one. And number two, probably vaccinated as well. So our population is a little bit different here. But I think it's something to watch and to look out for and to kind of look at what strains are going on over there. But there's something kind of weird going on. And I'm not sure about the 60% of China being affected with COVID. That number sounds really high. That might just be one specific province or something. I didn't see anything about it myself. But I know that China is still under a really strict 0% COVID policy, which most of the world has already abandoned because it's almost impossible. As you see with our numbers, they have been extremely low. So if we were in China with only 1 or 2 cases, we would still be under severe lockdown. So they're doing very extremes there, extreme actual data that's coming out of China. And so that 60% seems extremely high. It's probably propaganda. You have to be careful with the information that's out there. There's a lot of information. I myself have to sift through that information daily. and kind of figure out what's true, what's not true, what's propaganda and what's not. So, I mean, I don't think we need to be jumping up and down about it too much. I would fact check that before I make any further comments, but that number looks extremely high. And so we're still waiting for someone to come through with the trivia, and we're just going to leave that there and finish off some of our positives for our goals. And so we talked about sharing our resolutions with others, and that being people that we share the goal with or have a similar goal and meet regularly, someone who share setbacks and progress. So there's something that we can discuss so that it becomes kind of a topic. And you want to stay as motivated as you can. You want to automate as much as possible. So, hey, use some technology. A stitch in time saves 9. So using technology to help you is going to be something that you can do. The good news is you probably have technology in your pocket, like your phone. I keep all of my particular goals and resolutions on my phone so I can kind of track it all the time, add things to it, take things away, that kind of stuff. And then sometimes I also have like a task list that I can go through and kind of tick if it's a kind of a short turnover goals or resolutions. So there's a million different apps and stuff out there as well. A lot of apps, but I do believe in keeping lists. You can also use Google Calendar and reminders, and there's a lot of resources that are already on your phone, so you can use that as well, right? And this article gives a list of a bunch of different apps. I'm really not a big app person, so you can take a look at that at GoSkills.com. You want to review your resolutions as regular as you can, and that's what's going to keep them really fresh. So if you're not thinking about them regularly, then you're not going to do them. And so you want to keep that really fresh on your mind. It's really crucial to view your goals regularly. And at a minimum, you want to review should be monthly, but if more frequently, if you can. So if I have like short-term goals, I kind of like look at them. My longer-term goals, I want to just kind of update that and look at that when I can. And especially if you got something off of your list, go back and take another look at your list and kind of reprioritize with those. Schedule like a monthly, let me look at the big picture, kind of look for a weekly to-do list. I like to do that. And you can also set yourself with daily reminders of things that you may want to do that's going to get you closer to your bigger goals. Number 10, if you fall off track, you want to get back on extremely quickly and kind of figure out what's going on there. Thank you, Citizens for a Better Bahamas, for that link. I'll take a look at it at the end of the show. It looks like a Facebook link, so make sure that most of your stuff is coming from maybe like a news source or multiple sources as well, but I will take a look at that. All right, we have another caller. Caller, you're on the line.
Yes, good night, Dr. Archer. How you doing?
Hello, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't call for a couple of weeks, but of course, I was listening, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, I don't know everything, and boy, I thought the last time I listened, you were talking about gout and purines, but I think I may be incorrect because I actually called then, so I really don't think I'm correct.
Yes. Is the show after that? And I think you did not call during that show.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I can't remember, but the thing is, but listen, I pop a hernia exercise, and so I don't know what my New Year's resolution is. I don't know, maybe to stop exercising, but it's my fault, and I was very ignorant, and I was doing a kick exercise too rigorous and too fast, and I didn't know you could get it from doing that exercise, but that's my judgment. But the thing is, I wanted to comment because I see the scare tactics paradigm is still perpetrating the airwaves about COVID, right? Thank God I'm not in China, right? But I just want to highlight something, right? The fear factor. The fact that, I was in the food store and a lady was having a conversation with someone, and she was very, very fearful of this new variant that they were saying it doesn't show any symptoms. No, I saw it, no fever, no cough, etc., right, Miss Dr. Archer.
Yeah,
And so
so
then
it's
my
not a
mind, it was just,
disease then.
pardon?
So it's no longer a disease.
Yeah, but I like your humor, but not only that, here's the joke. So I juxtapose this, right? So the fact that you don't have any cough and any sneeze, runny nose, etc., it's like an asymptomatic situation. So hence, we know that the virus is escaping the immune system. So because if your body is not producing a fever and your body is not producing the symptoms, that means your body is not detecting the virus, hence viral immune escape that I was saying all along, and that I knew about it as antigenic shift, mutagenic escape, but we knew that Dr. Gerd Vandenbosch was talking about this. And so then, I guess, even with the respiratory syncytial virus, right? So the fact that the virus is asymptomatic and is escaping the immune system, that is a tactic in order to spread itself. Because if I am me, all right, let's say if I'm a human, and I am a robber and I'm inconspicuous, I'll be able to rob more people. And by the time they find I'm a robber, it'll be too late. That's the same thing with the virus. He's trying to really infect people. So if he's asymptomatic, then he is very smart because he can spread inconspicuously. So this is all I was trying to make it simple. Some people don't have to delve into all the molecular BS, right? But there's a new paradigm in high fructose corn syrup, and there's a new paradigm with high fructose corn syrup and refined foods, right? There's a doctor who I was listening to for a while, but his name is Dr. Robert Lustig, right? And there are new studies. Even this makes sense that exercising increases mitochondrial growth in the cells, which is mitochondria is an organelle that is the power, produces energy, and then it also says it shows you the effects of the high fructose corn syrup. It actually saps the body of energy, so it actually does the reverse.
Pull it all together, 30 seconds.
Yeah, bless up. Have a good one. Give thanks.
All right, thank you. Yeah, all right. So, 52 always brings up a lot of interesting facts. And yeah, we always talk about that sugar, fructose. It's really number one killer. It's what's really causing and driving a lot of our chronic diseases. And so I think if you're going to make a really big health resolution is to cut down or remove as much sugar, especially processed sugar, from your diet. And I think that's a game changer for most people because that's going to decrease inflammation. It's going to cut down. If you're a diabetic, it's going to make you better, more easier to control. It's going to make your blood vessels less, irritated. So if you are struggling with a lot of health issues, if you're struggling with diabetes, if you're struggling with weight, cutting out that sugar is probably going to be your number one goal. That's going to change your life. So I would recommend that because there's a lot of processed sugar in most of the foods we eat today. It's hard to get away from it, but if you really work hard, you can cut a lot of it out of your diet. And I do a lot of counseling about that in my clinic because, these underlying things are what really are spurring people to have, all of these problems, right? And so just like that, the show is like over. So we just ended on number 10, which is if you fall off track, you want to get back as quickly as possible to the things that are going to get you back onto your goal by just a little bit. Don't be afraid of failing. Look at the positives of it all and inch towards your goals. And that's going to create more positivity and bring you to where you need to be. So brought to you tonight by Medical Concierge Services. We did not get someone to answer the second question, but maybe in the new year, we can throw some of that back out. So if you can play my song, Mr. Producer, a glimpse of us as we end. And if you could WhatsApp me the person's number, because I can't kind of take it down right now. If you can WhatsApp the caller's name and information to me as well, I can have that. So caller, Thursday afternoon, we're going to have something there for you at Guardian Radio to pick up that you can use for whatever you want. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight and being a part of the show. Yes, and just like that, someone's telling me now, the show went really quickly. Man, we have fun in this 1 hour. And we're going to see you next week. If there's not a holiday, I think it's a holiday. We'll see how it goes. But if it's not, I'll be right here Tuesdays, 6:30, Guardian Radio with me, Dr. D. Archer. Have a good night. Thank you.
Sun's reflected by the coffee in your hand. My eyes are caught in your gaze all over again. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't hold on tight till the afterglow, and we'll burn so bright till the darkness softly clears. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold